हरे कृष्ण। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन। यमुन तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन। यमुन तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सदश्री His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री His Divine Grace भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपिका श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जय। गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी देवी की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Shri Shri Mahashivaratri Mahotsav की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं मुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेत् सुदेव देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, we are just trying to adjust the sound. Just give us some time.
That particular subject matter from the point of view of the essence of the person. Therefore, we find, for example, when we see the character of Dhritarashtra story,
It was coming through. Just we are arranging because suddenly it stopped. We also not able to make out why. Just give us some time.
and for serving the Supreme Personality of God, for moving the Supreme. Swami specifically says that milk is the cause of curd. Similarly, Vishnu is the cause of milk. But in the same example, milk gets transformed into curd. But this part of the analogy should not be, because Lord Vishnu does not get transformed to become Lord Shiva. Because Lord Vishnu remains transcendental. Just like the Shastras, Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna is compared to a touchstone. Touchstone, whatever the touchstone comes in contact with, that particular object gets transformed into gold. But the touchstone remains unchanged. Touchstone remains as it is. So similarly, the Supreme Lord, he remains unchanged. He does not undergo transformation, but through his energies, he transforms everything. So Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna is the cause of Lord Shiva. In that sense, this analogy is given. Milk is the cause of yogurt, but not in the sense of milk getting transformed into yogurt, because Krishna remains in his transcendental position. So even from the tattva point of view, in the Hari Bhakti Vilas also, it's when Sanatan Goswami describes the second Nama Aparad, he says that Shivasya Shri Vishnur Ya Iha Guna Namadi Sakalam Dhiya Binnam Pashyet Sakhalu Hari Nama Hitakaraha. So one who considers the name, qualities, etc. of Lord Shiva and Vishnu to be completely non-different and completely different is considered to be an offender to the holy names of Lord Vishnu. So in this shloka, the word used by Sanatan Goswami is that Dhiya Binnam. Dhiya Binnam. So this word, when we remove the sandhi, Dhiya Binnam can be separated in two ways. Dhiya Abinnam and Dhiya Binnam. So Dhi means intelligence. Dhiya Abinnam means considering Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu to be non-different by one's intelligence. If a person thinks Vishnu and Shiva to be non-different, that means identical, then he is committing a Namaparad. And if we take the other meaning, Dhiya Bhinnam, that means considering them to be different. If a person considers Shiva and Vishnu to be completely different, then he is also committing a Namaparad. So therefore, who is that person who will not committing Namaparad? One who considers Shiva to be simultaneously non-different and different from Vishnu. So he is said to be having the right understanding about Shiva. So the curd is not different from milk, because the existence of the curd is dependent on the milk. In that sense, there is a non-difference. But at the same time, the milk is not present in the curd. Milk is not present in the curd. Curd is also different from the milk. So there is a difference and non-difference, both are there. So one who understands Lord Shiva in that way, he is considered to be not committing Namaparad. So therefore, we see Lord Shiva as the Gunavatara of Vishnu. Right in the beginning of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Suta Goswami says that Sattvam Rajas Tamayati Prakriteir Gunastair Yukta Para Purusha Eka Ihasya Datte Sityadayo Shiva Virinchi Hareti Sanya Shreyamsi Tatra Khalu Sattvatanor Nrinam Syuhu. So Suta Goswami says that the one Purusha, Eka Purusha, the one Purusha, that is Garbhodakshai Vishnu, he, for the sake of controlling the three gunas, Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna and Tamo Guna, he assumes three forms. They are known as Hara, Virinchi and Hari. For controlling Tamoguna, he assumes the form of Hara. For controlling Rajoguna, he assumes the form of Virinchi, that is Brahma. And for controlling Sattvaguna, he assumes the form of Lord Vishnu. And then the verse says that Shreyamsi Tatra Khalu Sattvatanor Nrinam Syuhu. A living entity will attain the highest benefit, highest Shreya, by worshipping the form of Vishnu, whose form is made of Shuddha Sattva. Tatra Khalu, that means it is indeed true. It emphasizes further. Parthivad Dharuno Dumas Tasmad Agnis Trayimayah Tamasastu Rajastasmat Sattvam Yat Brahma Darshanam. So just like smoke is better than the wood. When there is wood, wood will not be simply, wood is not useful for performing the fire sacrifice. But smoke is better than the wood because in the smoke there is a movement also present. But prakasha is not there. But wood does not have prakasha and it does not have any movement. And better than smoke is the fire. Fire is directly used in the fire sacrifice for performing yajna. In fire there is prakasha and also there is movement. Kriya is also there. Similarly, Rajoguna is superior to Tamoguna and Sattvaguna is superior to Rajoguna. So the personality who is the controller of Sattvaguna, that is Lord Vishnu, his worship of him will lead to the highest benefit. Srila Jiva Goswami in his Paramatma Sandarbha, regarding this particular shloka, he clarifies further. He says that if Brahma and Shiva are worshipped as the independent devatas, that means as devatas in charge of the respective gunas, then because Rajoguna and Tamoguna are distressful and bewildering, Tamoguna covers a person and Rajoguna, it produces distress. So if Brahma and Shiva are worshipped as devatas in charge of the respective gunas, then even if a person attains the fruits of dharma, artha and kama by worshipping Brahma and Shiva, they will not be very pleasing. This is the first point he says. And then he says that, but on the other hand, if one worships Brahma and Shiva as without any upadhi, that means taking them as identical to Lord Vishnu and considering them as free of any gunas, then even if a person were to attain moksha, it would neither come directly from them nor be realized swiftly. That means he is saying that if a person considers Brahma and Shiva to be without any upadhi, to be identical with Vishnu, it is very difficult to attain moksha, or even if a person were to attain moksha, then it would neither come directly or nor be realized quickly. And then he says, rather, only if they are worshipped in the constant understanding, with the constant understanding that they are both parts of Paramatma. That means they are gunavataras of Vishnu. Then liberation will be attained. And that liberation will come from Lord Vishnu alone. So then he says that, on the other hand, if a person serves Lord Vishnu, even considering Lord Vishnu to be delimited by Sattva Guna. Actually, Lord Vishnu is always is beyond the three gunas. But even if a person serves Lord Vishnu, considering him to be delimited by Sattva Guna, that means not knowing him to be the supreme, then the fruits of dharma, artha and kama achieved through Lord Vishnu will be pleasing, because Sattva Guna is peaceful by nature. And suppose if a person worships Lord Vishnu without any material desire, and even while still considering Lord Vishnu to be delimited by Sattva Guna, then one attains moksha directly. One attains moksha directly. And then finally, Jiva Goswami says that, but if however, if one worships Lord Vishnu without any upadhi, that means considering him as the supreme Lord, then it is bhakti alone that is attained, which is the Panchama Purushartha. In this way, Jiva Goswami is elaborating this particular very important shloka in the Paramatma Sandarbha. So, in other words, Lord Shiva can be worshipped in 5 different ways. Lord Shiva can be worshipped as the independent Bhagavan. This is the concept of the Shaivaites. They worship Lord Shiva as the independent Bhagavan. Or the second way is that one may worship Lord Shiva as the presiding deity of an aspect of the material energy, such as the Tamoguna. Or the third way is that worshipping Lord Shiva as a devotee of Vishnu, as a Vaishnava. And the fourth way is worshipping Lord Shiva as a partial manifestation of Vishnu. And the fifth way is that considering Lord Shiva as a Adhishtana, a seat occupied by Vishnu, that means an agent or a representative of Vishnu, manifesting the powers of Vishnu. So, these are the 5 ways of worshipping Lord Shiva. Among these 5 ways, the first type of worship is forbidden, considering Lord Shiva as an independent Bhagavan, because this is said to lead to degradation. And the second type of worship will yield only material benefit, considering Lord Shiva as the presiding deity of material energy. But the other 3 types of worship can award the highest benefit, and that is the significance of this particular shloka. Shreyamsi tatra kalu sattvatanur drinam syuhu. So therefore, Sutta Goswami says that Bhejire munayotagre bhagavantam adokshajam Sattvam Vishuddham Kshemaya Kalpante Yenutaniha. Since the beginning of creation, since Since Anadi Kala, great sages, they worship the transcendental Shuddha Sattva form of Vishnu. And they attain the highest benefit. And those who follow in the footsteps of the sages, they also attain the highest benefit. So this is something about the Tattva of Lord Shiva. And this another perspective is that Aishwarya Gata Vichara. Aishwarya Gata Vichara means Lord Shiva's role in those pastimes of Krishna where Krishna manifests his majestic aspect, his Aishwarya. So many stories in the Srimad Bhagavatam, I'll briefly touch upon certain aspects of those stories. For example, the story of Vrikasura. In the story of Vrikasura, when Vrikasura was chasing Lord Shiva to put his hand on Lord Shiva because he wanted to enjoy Parvati, so at that time Lord Shiva came and took shelter of Vishnu, and then Vishnu took the form of a small attractive brahmachari's form, and then he tricked Vrikasura, and he told Vrikasura that you don't know that Lord Shiva's benedictions, many of the times it actually become false. Better you touch, you just touch your hand on your own head, and you can see for yourself. And in that way, Lord Vishnu tricked Vrikasur, and Vrikasur touched his own head, and then he was burned to ashes. So in this story, we see that Lord Shiva took shelter of Vishnu. After traveling all over the universe, he came and took shelter of Vishnu. He accepted his subordination to Vishnu. Another story which comes in 7th canto, 10th chapter, the last section, where Lord Shiva, when the demigods took shelter of Lord Shiva, when the demigods were fighting with Lord Shiva, the demons, they took shelter of Mayadanava. Mayadanava built 3 mystic airplanes for the demons. And the demigods took shelter of the Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva destroyed those demons. But the demons, the Mayadanava took the demons and they immersed the demons in a mystic lake. And all those demons got revived. And Lord Shiva became perturbed. I destroyed all the demons, but all the demons got revived. Again Lord Shiva takes shelter of Lord Vishnu. So then Lord Vishnu, he comes in the form of a cow, and then Brahmaji comes in the form of a calf, and then Lord Vishnu goes to that mystic lake and then drinks that entire lake. So after that, Lord Vishnu gives a special armor and a chariot and special arrows to Lord Shiva. And the Lord Shiva fights on behalf of the demigods. And the Lord Shiva destroys those 3 residences created by the Mayadanava. And in that way, he becomes known as Tripurari. So in this story also, Lord Shiva takes shelter of Lord Vishnu. Aishwarya Gata Vichara. And then another story we see that in the Banasur story also, when grandson of Lord Krishna, Aniruddha, falls in love with Usha, the daughter of Banasura. Then Banasur comes to know, Banasur captures Aniruddha. And then when the news reaches Krishna, and Krishna comes to attack Banasur. And Lord Shiva had given a benediction to Banasur that whenever you fight in the battle, I will act as your commander-in-chief. So Lord Shiva fights on behalf of the Banasur, and there is a fight between Lord Shiva and Krishna. Lord Shiva uses the Pashupatastra, Shiva Jwara, but ultimately Lord Krishna, by using the Sudarshan Chakra, he cuts off 996 arms of Banasura, leaving behind just 4 arms. And then finally, Lord Shiva, in a helpless state, he surrenders to Lord Krishna. And he offers prayers to Lord Krishna. So in this story also, Aishwarya Gata Vichara, Lord Shiva accepts his subordination to Lord Krishna. And then we also see the story of Paundraka. When Lord Krishna comes to attack Paundraka, Kashiraja, the devotee of Lord Shiva, he also fights on behalf of Paundraka. And Krishna kills Paundraka and Krishna kills Kashiraja. And the Kashiraja's head is thrown in the city of Kashi. Initially, the residents of Kashi they thought that maybe Krishna's head is there. But later they realized that our own king's head is there. And then Kashi Raja's son Sudakshana, he wants to take revenge against the death of his father, and then he performs a yajna to please Lord Shiva. And then, because he uses black magic, from that a demon is created, and the demon goes to attack Dwarka. And Krishna again releases the Sudarshan Chakra, and the Sudarshan Chakra starts chasing the demon, and because that demon was unable to cause damage to Dwarka, the demon comes back, and the demon comes back and kills the very person who sent him. The demon came back and killed Sudakshana. And then even Lord Shiva at that time, he actually flew out of Kashi. And then Lord Shiva came and took shelter of Harihara Kshetra in Navadvip. So these are some stories where Aishwarya Gata Vichara, where Lord Shiva accepts his subordination to Krishna. So Lord Shiva comes to Harihara Kshetra, and then Harihara Kshetra, he takes shelter of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this is narrated by Nityananda Prabhu when he gives a tour of Navadvip to Jiva Goswami. That time, Nityananda Prabhu tells that on this west side of Alaknanda river, there is this Navadvipa Kashi, the Harihara Kshetra. And this Navadvip Kashi, Lord Shiva is performing Sankirtan of the holy names, and he is worshipping Lord Gauranga. So these are pastimes of majesty, the Aishwarya Gata Vichara. And the third consideration is the Naravat Gata Vichara. In the Naravat Gata Vichara, in human-like pastimes of Lord Krishna, Lord Shiva sometimes gives benedictions to Lord Krishna. For example, Lord Shiva comes to take darshan of the baby Krishna in Nandagam. So at that time, Lord Shiva takes darshan of Krishna, and then he gives benediction to the child Krishna. And in Dwaraka, Krishna and Jambavati, they worship Lord Shiva to get a son Samba. So here also in the human-like pastimes of Lord Krishna, Krishna actually worships Lord Shiva. When Lord Ram, after killing Ravana, when he comes to Rameshwara, he wants to perform atonement, having killed a devotee of Lord Shiva. So he makes a Shivalinga, and then he starts worshipping the Shivalinga. So at that time, the common people, they say that, oh, Rameshwara. Rameshwara means that Ramasya Ishwaraha. So Rameshwara is a compound word, Samasa. But Rameshwara can have three kind of Vigraha Vakyas. The explanatory sentence, which give rise to three different meanings. So the common people, they said that, oh, Rameshwara means Ramasya Ishwaraha. That means Ram's Ishwara is Lord Shiva. Shiva is the master of Lord Ram. And in that way, the common people, they started glorifying Lord Shiva. Shiva is the master of Lord Ram. So at that time, the Devatas from the heaven appeared. And they said, oh, what you are saying is wrong. They said that Rameshwara means Ramascha Asau Ishwaraha. So they gave a meaning of the word Rameshwara as from the point of view of the Karmadhare Samasa. This is another type of Samasa. They said that Rameshwara means Rama is Ishwara and Shiva is also Ishwara. Both are identical. Both are same. So like that the Devatas gave an explanation. But Lord Shiva could not tolerate either of this explanation. Lord Shiva came out of the deity and he said that Rameshwara means Ramaha Ishwaraha Yasya Saha. He gave an explanation of the word Rameshwara from another type of samasa called as Bahuvrihi Samasa. He said Rameshwara means Ram, who is the master of Lord Shiva. Who is the master of Lord Shiva? The Ram who is the Ishwara, the Ishwara Ram, the Lord Ram, who is worshipped by Lord Shiva. In that meaning he gave. So in the Sanskrit, there was a beggar who went to a king, and he told the king, both of us are Lokanatha. He said that Aham cha tvam cha Rajendra Lokanatha Ubhavapi Bahuvrihi Raham Rajan Shashti Tatpurusho Bhavan. So the beggar told that beggar told the king, myself and yourself both are Lokanatha. In Bahuvrihi Samasa, I am Lokanatha. It's one type of compound word. In Shashti Tatpurusha Samasa, you are Lokanatha. Because the word Lokanatha has got two meanings. One meaning is that Lokasya Nataha. One who is the Lord of all the people. So in this meaning, you are Lokanatha. Because you are the king, therefore you are Lokanatha. But in another type of compound, Lokaha Nataha Yasya Saha. One who is having the common people as his master. For the sake of a beggar, who is the master for the beggar? All the common people will give some bhiksha. So in the case as a Bahuvrihi Samasa, when you take Lokanatha as another type of compound word, Bahuvrihi Samasa, Lokanatha refers to me. So anyway, here Rameshwara, in the Naravat Leela, in the human-like pastimes, Lord Ram is worshipping Lord Shiva to atone for the killing of Ravana. So in that way, there are three considerations: Tattvagata Vichara, Aishwaryagata Vichara, and Naravat Gata Vichara. In Haribhakti Vilasa, in another place, Sanatan Goswami, he says that about observing Shivaratri. He says that Shivaratrir Vratamidam Yadyap Avashyakam Nahi Vaishnavanam Tatapyatra Sadacharad Vilikyate. So he says that observing Shivaratri is not compulsory, it is not essential for a Vaishnava. Yadyap Avashyakam Nahi, but still for the sake, sometimes a person may have to observe Shivaratri as part of the family customs, family culture. So, for that sake, therefore, I am also describing Shivaratri. Shivaratri Vratam Krishna Chaturdasham Shyantu Falgune. So, every month there is Shivaratri. But the Shivaratri which comes in the Falguna month, that is called as a Mahashivaratri. And then he says that Vaishnavairapi Tatkaryam Shri Krishna Pritaye Sada. When a Vaishnava observes the Shivaratri Vrata, the monthly Shivaratri Vrata or the Mahashivaratri, then one should observe the Shivaratri for the sake of pleasing Shri Krishna. Shri Krishna Pritaye Sada. So this is what Sanatan Goswami says. And he also quotes a shloka. Sanatan Goswami says that Madbhakta Shankara Dveshi Madveshi Shankara Priya Ubau Tau Narakam Yatau Yavat Chandra Divakarau. One who is a devotee of me, but one who hates Lord Shiva. Or one who is a devotee of Lord Shiva, but one who hates me. Both of them will reside in hell as long as sun and moon exist. So therefore, it is very important to have the right integral understanding of Lord Shiva, Lord Krishna, Lord Brahma. And we will see certain shlokas from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Again, this is from the Paramatma Sandarbha of Jiva Goswami. He takes 4 shlokas in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So these 4 shlokas, they appear to give an understanding that Lord Shiva is equal to Vishnu in all respects, or Lord Shiva is superior to Vishnu. The first shloka is from Daksha Yajna. In the Daksha Yajna, at the very end of Daksha Yajna, Lord Vishnu appears in the sacrificial arena of Daksha. And then he gives his instructions, his advice to Daksha Prajapati. Because the mistake of Daksha Prajapati is that Daksha Prajapati saw Lord Shiva from a bodily point of view. He saw Lord Shiva that he is my son-in-law. He is not showing respect to me by getting up. Everyone else is showing respect to me. So Daksha Prajapati was having envy towards Lord Shiva for a very long time. And that Lord Shiva not getting up from the seat, that acted as an immediate trigger, and then Daksha Prajapati became so envious, and then he started criticizing Lord Shiva in the open assembly. So he saw Lord Shiva only from a bodily point of view. So seeing a Vaishnava from a bodily point of view, in the Padma Purana it is mentioned that that is a hellish mentality, Narakiya Buddhi. So but finally in that episode of Daksha Yajna, Lord Vishnu is addressing especially this particular attitude of Daksha Prajapati. This is 4th canto, 7th chapter, 54th shloka. Trayanam ekabhavanam yona pashyati vaibhidam sarvabhutatmanam brahman sashantim adhigachyati. One who does not consider Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva or the living entities in general to be separate from the Supreme actually realizes peace. Others do not. One who considers Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva to be, one who does not consider Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva to be separate from the Supreme, such a person actually realizes peace. Such a person attains peace. So that means here Lord Vishnu is saying that one must consider Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva to be identical, to be same or to be identical with Vishnu. So Vishnu here means Shirodaksha Vishnu is playing the role of maintaining the universe. So Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva to be identical with Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So Anu, that means basically considering Shiva and Vishnu to be identical. Those who don't see uh, those people who does not consider them to be separate from the Supreme, such a person attains shantim adhigachyati. Such a person attains peace. Another similar shloka is spoken by Lord Shiva to Markandeya Rishi. This shloka comes in the 12th canto, 10th chapter. I think 22nd shloka. So Markandeya Rishi was completely absorbed in meditation. He was so absorbed in meditation on Lord Vishnu. So at that time, Lord Shiva was going in an airplane with Parvati. So Parvati tells to Lord Shiva, see this particular sage is so absorbed in meditation. Why don't you go and give some benedictions to the sage? So Lord Shiva says, see, this particular sage is so pure, he does not desire anything material. He does not desire anything material. So even if I go in front of him, he will not ask for any benediction. But then Lord Shiva says, beautiful sentence, he says that, but although he does not desire anything material because he is a pure Vaishnava, but at least let us associate with this Vaishnava. Let us associate with this, at least let me get the association of this Vaishnava. So with that mood, Lord Shiva comes to meet Markandeya Rishi. And then, but when Lord Shiva comes in front of Markandeya Rishi is so absorbed in meditation, he does not even realize that somebody is in front of him. The same situation, when Daksha entered that assembly, his effulgence was so prominent that everyone was influenced and everyone got up to respect Lord Shiva. Everyone got up to show respect to Daksha. But Lord Shiva was so absorbed in meditation that he didn't realize that Daksha had entered. But Daksha Prajapati became offended that Lord Shiva did not get up. But here the same situation that Markandeya Rishi did not show any respect to Lord Shiva, although he's in front of him. But Lord Shiva did not get offended by Markandeya Rishi, but rather Lord Shiva entered within the heart of Markandeya Rishi and gave darshan to Markandeya Rishi. And when Markandeya Rishi got darshan of Lord Shiva, then he opened his eyes and Lord Shiva was in front of him. So there, Lord Shiva speaks a shloka. Nate mai achyute jecha bhidam anvapi chakshate natmanascha janasyapi tadyushman vayamimahi. So Lord Shiva says that these devotees do not differentiate between Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma and me. Nor do they differentiate between themselves and other living beings. Therefore, because you are this kind of saintly devotee, we worship you. The true devotees, they do not differentiate between Vishnu, Brahma and me. He especially says that Nate mai achyute jecha bidam anu api chakshate. Anu api. Even slightly, even by an atomic fraction, they do not differentiate between me, Vishnu and Shiva. Because you are this kind of saintly devotee, we worship you. So this is another verse, the 12th canto. So these two shlokas, the 4th canto, 12th canto shloka, they emphasize that how one should not see difference between Shiva and Vishnu. And such a person attains real peace. So Srila Jiva, from these verses, we may think that means Shiva is identical with Vishnu. So Srila Jiva Goswami explains, gives an explanation that we have to understand these verses through the Satkaryavada. Satkaryavada means the effect is identical with the cause, but the cause is not identical with the effect. The effect is dependent on the cause, but the cause is independent of the effect. So milk and yogurt, the same example. Yogurt is identical with the milk. Yogurt is dependent on the milk. But the milk is independent of yogurt and the milk is not identical with yogurt. Because there are people who consider Lord Shiva to be separate from Vishnu and then they will commit Namaparad. So therefore, the Shastras emphasize that those who do not consider Vishnu and Shiva to be separate, they attain real peace. But at the same time, as I mentioned previously, that Dhiya Bhinnam, that means those who consider Lord Shiva and Vishnu to be completely identical and completely separate, both are committing Namaparad. So therefore, the right understanding is that simultaneous oneness and difference. So, for example, when we say Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha, a Mahatma after many lifetimes, Bahunam Janmana Mante, Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate. And he considers, he surrenders to me and he considers Lord Vasudeva to be all in all. Such a Mahatma is very rare. When this verse says that Vasudeva Sarvamiti, that everything is Vasudeva, does that mean that every object in this world, everything is Vasudeva? A car is Vasudeva, table is Vasudeva, yeah. That everything is Vasudeva? No, it means that everything is an energy of Vasudeva. In that sense, everything is dependent on Vasudeva. Because according to Satkaryavada, the effect is non-different from the cause because the effect is dependent on the cause. So the Mahatma sees that everything is an energy of Vasudeva. He sees everything in relation to Lord Vasudeva. But at the same time, it does not mean that everything is identical. Everything is identical with Vasudeva in all respect. It's not that we worship the table as the deity of Krishna and start offering arati to the table. So because the cause is also independent of the effect. And the cause is not identical with the effect. So that is Satkaryavada. And then Srila Jiva Goswami quotes two more shlokas from the Srimad Bhagavatam. 3rd canto, 14th chapter, 29th shloka. Kashyapa Muni is speaking to Diti. So Kashyapa Muni says that Brahmadayo yat krita setupala yat karanam vishwamidam cha maya Kari yasya pishacha charya aho vibhumnas charitam vidambanam. Kashyapa Muni says that demigods like Brahma also follow the religious rites observed by Lord Shiva. He is the controller of the material energy which causes the creation of the material world. He is great and therefore his devilish characteristics are simply imitation. So Diti wanted to unite with Kashyapa Muni in order to get a child. But Kashyapa Muni is saying that this is not the appropriate time for union because Lord Shiva is going along with his associates in this time. So therefore, we have to show respect to Lord Shiva. And even Brahma and other devatas, they follow the religious rites observed by Lord Shiva. They also follow the laws established by Lord Shiva. And he is the controller of the material energy. So here, Kashyapa Muni is saying that even Brahma and other devatas, including he is saying that Brahma, Vishnu, and all the devatas, they also follow the laws given set by Lord Shiva. So this verse appears to say that how Lord Shiva is superior to Lord Vishnu. And then there is another shloka in the 8th canto, the Samudra Manthan episode, when the Kalakuta poison comes. At that time, Lord Vishnu tells all the devatas, now you must approach Lord Shiva. So all the devatas approach Lord Shiva and they glorify Lord Shiva. In one of the prayers, they say, this 8th canto, 7th chapter, Nate Giritra Khila Lokapala Virincha Vaikunta Surendra Gamyam Jyoti Param Yatra Rajastamascha Sattvam Nayat Brahma Nirasta Bhedam. The devatas are saying that, O Giritra, your supreme effulgence cannot be understood even by all the protectors of the planets, by Brahma, by Vishnu, or by Indra, the ruler of the gods. Virincha Vaikunta Surendra Gamyam. Your effulgence cannot be understood by Brahma, Vishnu, Indra, and other devatas. This effulgence is the supreme absolute Brahman, Jyoti Param Yatra Rajas Tamascha, utterly devoid of Rajoguna, Tamoguna, Satvaguna. So in this shloka, the devatas are saying that they are telling the superiority of Lord Shiva over Vishnu. How do we understand these two shlokas, the 3rd canto and the 8th canto shlokas? So Srila Jiva Goswami gives an explanation that there is a Vedic principle that the gods excel in power when they are praised through the glorious word, when they are praised through glorious words. Sometimes when you want somebody to perform certain extraordinary, difficult activity, you praise such a person. Just like when there is a cricket match. So in order to encourage the cricket players, the audience, they praise the cricket players. Sachin is our God, cricket is our religion. Like that people praise the cricket players. So when they praise the players, that they exaggerate that particular player. They may speak in an exaggerated way. It's also called as Arthavada. So here the Devatas, they want to encourage Lord Shiva to perform an extraordinary difficult task of consuming poison. So therefore, they are glorifying Lord Shiva in that manner. So therefore, we have to see the context in that. The scriptures are not textual, they are contextual also. And in the case of Kashyapa Muni speaking to Diti, Kashyapa Muni in that particular episode, it is not that he has taken the role of a spiritual master and in instructing the disciple. Rather, Kashyapa Muni, the whole context of that particular shloka is that Kashyapa Muni somehow wants to convince Diti that this is not the appropriate time. That if we have union at this time, that a demonic person can take birth. This will be a disrespect towards Lord Shiva. It is not that Diti has asked a question to Kashyapa Muni that please tell me who is the Paratattva, who is the supreme among the trinities. Rather, Kashyapa Muni somehow wants to convince Diti that this is not the appropriate time for union. So therefore, that is the context. So in that context, he is speaking the shloka. So therefore, he is saying that even great devatas follow the rules set by Lord Shiva. And here the devatas are glorifying Lord Shiva, that Lord Shiva's effulgence cannot be understood even by other devatas. And then Jiva Goswami says that because elsewhere in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in many other places, Lord Shiva clearly accepts his subordination to Lord Vishnu. In the same Samudra Manthan episode, Lord Shiva tells the devatas, Preete harau bhagavati priyeham sa charachara. When Bhagavan Hari is pleased, then I and all the moving and non-moving beings are also pleased. The same episode, Lord Shiva is speaking that shloka. Furthermore, in the 9th canto, when Durvasa Muni comes and takes shelter of Lord Shiva, that time Lord Shiva says that Vayam na tata prabhavama bhumni yasmin parenye api jiva kosha bhavanti kale na bhavanti hidrisha sahasrasho yatra vayam brahmamaha. Lord Shiva says that we gods have no power, oh my dear son, over the all-pervading Supreme, in whom other universes similar to this particular universe, and which are the amalgamated bodies of the Jivas and Brahma, appear and disappear in thousands at the appointed time. And we wander in these universes. In this way, Lord Shiva is clearly accepting his subordination to Lord Vishnu elsewhere in the Bhagavatam. In another place in the Bhagavatam, in the Ilavrita Varsha, when Lord Shiva is glorifying Shankarshana, Lord Shiva says that Yete vayam yasya vashe mahatmanaha sita shakunta iva sutra yantrita. Remaining under the control of that supreme person, we are like the birds controlled by a string. So therefore, that when the devatas are glorifying Lord Shiva, or when Kashyapa Muni is speaking about the position of Lord Shiva to Diti, we also have to see the context in which those shlokas are spoken, and we have to understand those shlokas from the taking into consideration the other prasangas, other episodes in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Durvasa Ambarish Maharaj episode, or the Ilavrita Varsha, prayers of Lord Shiva, and the other Lord Shiva speaking to the Devatas in the same Samudra Manthan episode. And another way to understand this same shloka, where the Devatas are saying that your effulgence cannot be understood even by Lord Vishnu. Another way to understand the shloka is that when the Devatas are speaking, they are referring to the Paramatma inside the heart of Lord Shiva. Because when we respect a particular person, we respect a person in relation to the Paramatma. We respect a person because in his heart the Paramatma is situated there. That's why when Parvati Devi asked Lord Shiva, why did you not get up and show respect to Daksha Prajapati when he entered the assembly? Lord Shiva gives a reply that when we show respect to a person, we are supposed to show respect to the Paramatma in the heart of the person. So I was trying to look for the Paramatma in the heart of Daksha Prajapati. But although I tried hard to look at Paramatma in the heart of Daksha, but I couldn't find Paramatma. Because Daksha Prajapati was so proud, so arrogant, that Paramatma practically disappeared from his heart. Therefore, I couldn't offer respects to him. So, when we show respect to a person, we show respect to the Paramatma in the heart of the person, or we show respect to the person in relation to the Supreme Lord. So, when the Devatas are glorifying Lord Shiva, they are glorifying the Paramatma in the heart of Lord Shiva. Then the verse, it would mean that your effulgence or your glories, that means that they are referring to the Paramatma's glories, that means the Vishnu's glories. Your glories, that means the glories of Vishnu, cannot be understood even by Vishnu. Glories of Vishnu cannot be understood even by Vishnu. And this is the conclusion. Then one may think that if the glories of Vishnu cannot be understood even by Vishnu, then this leads to another doubt. Because one of the quality of Vishnu is that he is Sarvagya. He is supposed to be all-knowing. But if he does not know the extent of his own glories, then how can he be Sarvagya? So it raises doubts on the position of Lord Vishnu. He is supposed to be all-knowing, but he does not know the extent of his own glories. So we have to understand that when a person does not know about something which does not exist, that does not disqualify him from being a Sarvagya. For example, horn of a rabbit. Horn of a rabbit in reality does not exist only. Akasha Pushpa. It does not exist only. These are illusory things. So if a person is not aware of Akasha Pushpa or a horn of a rabbit, that does not disqualify him from being a Sarvagya, because these things don't exist only. So similarly, the limit of Lord Vishnu's glories, in reality, it does not exist only. It is an illusory thing. The limit of the Lord's glories, it is an illusory thing. It does not exist only. Therefore, if Lord Vishnu is not aware of the extent of his own glories, that does not disqualify him from being a Sarvagya, because in reality, the limit of Lord's glories does not exist only. And this is the conclusion of the prayers of the personified Vedas. The personified Vedas, they conclude with this particular Siddhanta, that is 10.87.41. The personified Vedas, they say that Dupataya evate na yayur antam anantataya tvam api yat antaranda nichaya nanu savarana. Because you are unlimited, neither the lords of heaven nor even you yourself can ever reach the end of your glories. The countless universes, each enveloped in its shell, are compelled by the wheel of time to wander within you like particles of dust blowing about in the sky. The Shrutis, following their method of eliminating everything separate from the Supreme, become successful by revealing you as their final conclusion. So in this way, we can understand this shloka spoken by the Devatas in praise of Lord Shiva, that your effulgence cannot be understood by Lord Vishnu. We can understand that they are referring to the Paramatma in the heart of Lord Shiva. And finally, we can see Lord Shiva's qualities. Just last point. In the Bhartrhari's Niti Shataka, Bhartrhari speaks about the qualities of great souls. So he says that Manasi Vachasi Kaye Punya Piyusha Purna Tribhuvanam Upakara Shrenibi Prinayantaha Paraguna Paramanun Parvati Kritya Nityam Nija Hridi Vikasanta Santi Santa Kiyanta. So Bhartrhari says that those people who have dedicated their mind, words, and their body in performing welfare for all other living entities. Those who have dedicated their mind, words, and their body for performing paropakara towards others. And those people, paraguna paramanun parvati kritya nityam. Somebody is having a good quality like for the size of an atom. Paraguna paramanun. But parvati kritya nityam. But a great soul who sees that paramanu type good quality, he magnifies it like a mountain. Such people are very rare in this world. He's mentioning basically two qualities. Those people who are always engaged in performing welfare for other living entities with their body, mind, and words. And those people who magnify the good quality which is of the size of a paramanu and magnifies it like a mountain. So such great soul, how many people are there? Nija Hridi Vikasanta Santi Santa Kiyanta. So such great souls are very rare in this world. So Bhartrhari is speaking in general terms. But these two qualities of a great soul, both are exhibited by Lord Shiva in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam explains that Tapyante lokatapena sadava prayasho janaha paramaradhanam taddi purushasya kilatmanaha. So the Shrudev Goswami says that Tapyante lokatapena sadava prayasho janaha. The sadhus generally voluntarily they take up they accept different austerities, they accept difficulties for the sake of doing paropakara towards others, and that is the highest way of worshipping Lord Vishnu. Paramaradhanam taddi purushasya akhilatmanah. So the Vaishnava's quality is that paradukka dukki. When he sees the distress of others, he feels distress. Atmaupamyena sarvatra samam pashyati yorjuna sukham va yadiva dukkam sayogi paramo matah. The topmost yogi is that one who sees others' happiness to be his own happiness and others' distress to be his own distress. So Lord Shiva took up a great austerity of consuming poison, Kalakuta poison, for the sake of doing welfare for the entire world. For the sake of doing welfare for the entire world. And in that way, he performed the highest worship of Lord Vishnu. So this quality is mentioned by Bhartrhari in the Niti Shataka. And we see the other quality, that magnifying the smallest good quality to be like a mountain. This is also the quality of Lord Shiva. Sati, when she comes to the sacrificial arena of Daksha Prajapati, she sees that oblations are being offered on behalf of every devata, but Lord Shiva is being neglected. So she could not tolerate the disrespect shown to Lord Shiva. And then in the open assembly, Sati, she actually speaks the glories of Lord Shiva. And in that, Sati says that Doshan paresham hi guneshu sadavo Grishnanti kechin na bhavadrisho dvija Gunamcha falgun bahuli karishnavo Makattamastesh avidat bhavanagam. So Sati says that saintly persons see that faults are capable of being transformed into good qualities. So therefore, they neglect, they don't see the faults, they see only the good qualities. But you are the opposite of that. You, even when you see a good quality, you see that, oh, this good quality will also get transformed into fault. Therefore, you see only the faults. And then Sati says, the best among the saintly persons, they magnify Gunamsha Falgun Bahuli Karishnavo, they magnify even the meager good qualities in another person. But rather, in the case of you, even when you see a good quality, but you see that the good quality as a fault. So therefore, Lord Shiva is the best of the sadhus. In that purport, Vishwanath Chakravarti talks about 4 kinds of people: sadhu, sadhu tara, sadhu tama, and ati sadhu tama. And asadu, asadu tara, asadu tama, and ati asadu tama. And Vishwanath Chakravarti says that Lord Shiva is the ati sadhu tama and Daksha is ati asadu tama. So in that way, Lord Shiva exhibits this qualities. So therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam, in various episodes of Srimad Bhagavatam, this episode of Lord Shiva's instruction, the Prachetas, very beautiful instruction, and various other sections, Lord Shiva's glories come. But to summarize, we try to discuss that Lord Shiva's position, we try to understand from Tattva Gata Vichara, Aishwarya Gata Vichara, and Naravat Gata Vichara. So we saw various episodes from the Brahma Samhita and the stories of Krishna and Lord Shiva from the Srimad Bhagavatam Ramayana. And we discussed Sanatan Goswami explaining Lord Shiva in his Hari Bhakti Vilas. And then we discussed 4 verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam, which apparently describe that Lord Shiva as to be equal to Vishnu or superior to Vishnu. So what is the right understanding of those verses? Through the example of Satkaryavada and also through the context in which those verses were spoken. Hare Krishna.
I just like to go to channel Manatra for His Grace Radhika and the Kannada class was given by students.